Hello, everyone. Hello, Staten Island. Hello, world. My name is Tom Bavona with Gotham Trinity Productions. Welcome to another edition of Set It Straight with Doc Bots, where we bring in Dr. Thomas Bottolari from New York Presbyterian Columbia University, who's been providing some great insight to both myself and my partner in Gotham Trinity Productions, Michael G. Graziuso, who joins me in right now. We've been going through fact and fiction and dealing with what's real and what's not, and kind of doom and gloom of it and the reality of things. Today, we're going to be talking about a little bit predictions and how there was all this chatter about whether you watched the Netflix documentary from Pandemic, which is very interesting, by the way, but kind of not disheartening, but wow, it's a little depressing to watch, though, to see what steps were being taken leading up to this point and who has been in the forefront from that documentary, right? But people have been talking about this for a long, long time. Bill Gates' name has been thrown out there and say, hey, listen, this is going to happen. This is bound to happen. And I think we both have had experiences where we've heard people talk about this could probably happen at some point, right, Mike?
Well, Todd, people, because of Bill Gates' TED Talk, they're talking like he's a prophet, like he predicted this great, or he's involved in it. But I tell you, it wasn't that hard to predict. My sixth grade biology teacher predicted this, so it's like it can happen. And with a planet that we have planes going everywhere, we have shipments, we have people touching over. There's millions upon billions of people, it's bound to spread, and something like this could definitely happen. And it has.
And it has. So let's bring in Dr. Bots. Dr. Bots, I mean, a lot of predictions were out there from years ago. I mean, it's been how long since Mike Graziuso has been in second grade? We won't divulge his age on air. But
sixth grade.
So yeah, predictions, Doc. What was this always not if, but when? Was it let's prepare? Have we declined in trying to prepare? What's going on?
Yeah, so the predictions, I agree with Mike. The reality is that if you think back to middle school biology, the idea of, do you guys know what a climax community is? The ecological concept of climax community?
Explain it for us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. You explain in your words, because it's probably make more sense coming from you.
Where like a community or civilization gets to its peak, and then a virus has to come and just take everybody out because it's at the climax, or it can't sustain itself between food and water and resources.
There's a balance, exactly. So there's a balance, right? So you reach a time at which there's a balance between the number of organisms in a species and the way it interacts with the rest of the species in that ecological sort of biosphere, closed container system. And so everything is in balance, it's in flux, and there's stability. It's a stable community. Well, humanity has been on an upswing and hasn't really stopped, except for some plagues in history. So if you look back at history, you say, okay, as the population increases, there's a plague, there's a war, and there's a decrease in population. We're at over 7 billion people. We've got crowded cities. We are disconnected from nature, and then in some ways we're reconnecting with nature. So where organisms are evolving in one ecological niche in a community away from humanity, and then we bring those animals into our communities with things like deforestation and expanding into their environment, we're suddenly exposed to new things, right? We're exposed to organisms that haven't co-evolved with us for a long time. And then all of a sudden, wham, we get hit with a virus that has the ability to infect us, and we have no experience with it. That's what makes the novel coronavirus. It's a coronavirus. It has the ability to infect us, but we've never seen it before. So the predictions are not so mind-blowing if you just have the most basic ecological background. If you have any understanding of how ecology works, you understand that there's the way the organisms interact. We are absolutely positively connected to nature, and I think that's out of whack. And anybody who's paying attention can tell you that. Not just Bill Gates and not just Mike's sixth grade science teacher.
Very smart man.
You want to give him a shout out? Who was your sixth grade teacher?
To be honest with you, I don't remember. My biology teacher in the sixth grade? I don't know.
I remember all my teachers' names. It's a strange thing, but
really?
I don't know.
Where'd you go to intermediate school?
Say again?
Where'd you go to intermediate school?
IS 75.
75. Who was your sixth grade teacher? Who was your science teacher?
Now you put me on the spot. He was tall. I could picture him in my brain.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tall.
yeah.
He wore shirts.
He wore shirts, and he hated the sound of crumbling paper. I remember we weren't allowed to crumble paper in his classroom.
Oh God, I would have
Wow.
been such a clown. I would have been crumbling paper all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
To be
But,
fair, I remember five teachers that made a difference in my life. So those are the ones that kind of like stand out. I could barely give you names of the rest of them. So.
Right.
But that's not a bad opportunity for all of us to acknowledge the work that teachers do every day, and now parents are having to do. Right,
Right.
Mike, you have any small kids at home that you're educating? I know Todd doesn't yet. He's a newlywed, right?
No, but I have my niece at my mom's house, and that's even hard because they're not technically savvy. Which is her birthday today, so happy birthday, Solara!
Happy birthday.
So it's like, so they're trying to get on the computers to try to do like the learning thing and stuff like that, and it's like they just can't grasp it. So then they got me on like a FaceTime trying to show them how to do it. So it's like this three-way like craziness, and it's so frustrating that I can't just go there and just do it for them. And
yeah,
it's hard.
So my wife's a speech pathologist, and she's been tasked with doing telecare, much like how Doc Botts is doing, and it's very difficult. So there's OTs and PTs and STs, speech therapists, who have all been tasked at this school to do this telecare, and for some, it's a big challenge. And speech therapy specifically, for those who are on the spectrum or who have different types of illnesses or deficiencies, to get them to function in front of a screen. So yeah, it's a testament to the teachers and whoever's has the patience of saints, I feel, right, Doc?
You guys have touched on all kinds of emotional triggers for me. Speech pathology is near and dear to my heart. My Julia is studying speech pathology, and I can say the letter S thanks to Mrs. Karras. When I was in elementary school, she used to take me out of class once or twice a week. So that's important work, and it's hard work. And this telehealth thing, man, it's weird. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but patients are so appreciative, and people are understanding. So I'm sure she's having that experience too, where she's getting in front of the camera and learning sort of a way to interact that's different. And we're all having to learn that, right? It's not easy.
Yeah. And I know
you mentioned the birthday too, Mike. And I have to say this. There's 3 birthdays here that are really important in this conversation.
That's right.
Mike's got his niece, your mom, right, Todd?
My mom, yes. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to Todd's mom. And my baby, my little one, is 13 today. My Emma, 13 years old. 4 teenagers in my house.
So we can timestamp this. So April 15th, a great day. We're throwing it out there.
Yes.
It's an awesome day. But we did start talking predictions with regards to COVID. But who would have predicted? I think the general point of predictions, no one could have predicted this. No one could have predicted the doctor was going to be doing telecare with 6 appointments a day or whatever it is you do, or that my wife was going to have to do telecare as a speech pathologist, which it's just mind-boggling to think that would have happened. And you think,
but don't you take some solace in the fact that don't you take in the idea that we adapted so quickly to this?
Correct.
I think people, it's frustrating for all of us to be in this situation, but think of how quickly everybody came together and started to adapt. It's all doom and gloom when you watch the news, and it's all the economy is failing and people are falling apart. But this is promising. We have this amazing ability to adapt to our situation as it comes, and I think if we focus on that and we look for solutions. True. Human beings are miraculous creatures. We have wonderful imaginations. We'll figure this thing out. We're going to figure out how to live, whether it lasts for 6 months or a year, or this is our new normal. Everybody likes to call it the new normal.
Right.
We're going to figure it out. We're going to be okay.
Predictions, Doc, put you on the spot. Predictions for the health and wellness community for the next 5 to 10 years. This is big. I'm throwing you on the spot. Give me a general scope of what's going to change. How is the doctor community, the WHO, the CDC, what's going to change on a large scale now because of this in a although we don't know if it's going to be a post-coronavirus era. Like, just what's going to change?
Well, Todd, Doc, before you start, Todd, that's an excellent point, because if when you take every plague or every disease in history, something good came out of it. A lot of our plumbing and running water came after the Black Plague, where we're like, oh, we gotta get this waste out of here. A lot of our healthcare systems of like the government or the monarchy stepping in to control health and stuff like that. So that's a great point, Todd. So Doc, yeah. So is there anything good that's going to come out of this?
I think so. Mike, you said it better than I could have. The way you just said that is exactly how I feel. I think that when we're challenged, we could always look at things as, the end of the line or the beginning of something new. And I think this is the beginning of something new. There are certain ways that we've engaged our existence that are sort of let's think of one simple thing. Kid going to school with a viral infection, right? How often are parents sending their kids to school when they're sick because we don't have necessary contingency plans? And the mother or the father is faced with either I don't go to work or my kid goes to school with his runny nose and his low grade fever, right? And I think we have to start paying a little bit of a closer attention to these kinds of things in terms of social distancing in general. What does it mean to have appropriate hygiene and appropriate standards and appropriate contingency plans? You look at the different companies that are springing up while this is happening, technology companies, communication companies that are solidifying and fortifying the way that we communicate with each other. What great invention is going to come out of this? I don't know. I'm not an inventor, and my imagination is pretty good, but I agree with Mike. Something good will come from this. We'll learn from this. And when we think about, the next step is going to be, how do we get back to work?
Right.
If you work in a cubicle with 100 people on a floor, are we going to start to stagger schedules, where one crew comes in the morning, another goes at night? Are we going to have a rotating schedule where one crew is Monday, Wednesday, Friday telecommuting, and the other is Tuesday, Thursday telecommunicating?
Wow.
Telecommuting, not communicating, commuting. I don't know, but those are strategies you're starting to see. The medical journals are actually starting to publish some of these guidelines. Medscape had an article on this yesterday. How do we get back to work? What does it mean to socially distance as we're getting back to work?
Right.
And if you're a small business owner and you have a great idea, a great way to move this forward, your small business might thrive in the new market. Who knows? But that's when I say we need to use our imaginations. We need to think about things from a perspective beyond our normal scope. People love saying think outside of the box, right? But there's no time like the present to start thinking about solutions from your perspective. If you're a small business owner and you need to figure out a way to get back to work that's safe, you're going to be way ahead of the curve when things start reopening.
Well,
that's a great point, Doc.
Touched on a lot there. All right, so predictions. We touched on a lot there today, but fair enough. There's a lot to go over, and that's why we're doing all these episodes with Dr. Badaleri. So, Doc, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Stay tuned next time. Who knows where we're going to go? Our moods may change. You never know. Stay tuned.